difference between rape and sexual assault, or are they the same thing?
They are the same thing under the law, and this can be confusing to many people, not just us, right? But because the government actually defines it in a few different ways as well. So if you're asking the state how they define it versus the FBI how they define it, it can look differently. So it's very, very common. But rape and sexual assault are the same thing under the law. The difference really is between sexual assault and sexual abuse. Sexual abuse means that there does not need to be any kind of penetration. It can be any kind of unwanted, non-consensual touching, groping, or grabbing, and there doesn't need to be any sort of penetration. So those are the two things that are a little bit different: sexual assault and sexual abuse, and the difference is only that penetration factor.
Okay. And thank you for helping clear that up, because I think a lot of us, especially when we watch the news, we hear sexual assault, we don't hear rape, and it's it can be confusing. It is
Definitely,
confusing.
it is confusing.
So moving on to the disability community,
Sure.
what percentage of people with disabilities are raped? Could you give us an idea of what that is?
Yes, and I can try to give you an idea, but this is also this is kind of a complicated question.
Right.
Sexual assault, sexual violence is the #1 underreported crime in the country. So that means very few people are coming forward and reporting that this happens to them. So it's very hard to find that statistic that we all want to know of how many people is this happening to. There's many reasons people don't report. But what I can tell you is an idea of what we know.
Okay.
So overall, not making any difference between children with or without disabilities, the rates are about 1 in 3 girls under age 18 and 1 in 6 boys under age 18. And that's, again, not discriminating whether there's disabilities involved or not. And then some of the other stats that we have around specifically children with disabilities is that for children with a disability, it's about 2.9 or almost 3 times as likely for a child with a disability. Now, even scarier than that, if the child has an intellectual or mental health type of disability, the rate is actually 4.6 times more likely for them to experience sexual violence in their life. So those statistics are extremely disturbing, very scary, and that's why I'm so happy that you brought us on your show today, because we know that this is a huge problem, an epidemic, really.
And the other point that you bring up, underreported. So like whatever number you're hearing right now is probably higher.